Welcome to the Mike Bowie Show, where we talk with people who influence people. Welcome to the podcast, People Who Influence People. And today is a really special day for me because you know what? Sometimes you just have to ask people if they'll be on with you. So this is a special day for me because I took a chance and I asked a gentleman who I've never met. I sent him a message on Facebook Messenger, and lo and behold, like 10 minutes later, he replied saying yes. So I want to introduce Mayor Nick Guccione with Mayor of Wentzville.
Correct.
So welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I've known of you for a long time. Oh, this is the first time we've met. And, the point of the podcast is about influence. And we were just talking briefly before I hit record. And, I just want to get to know you a little bit. So the first question I like to ask people is, and it's kind of it might be a loaded gun, maybe not, but what's it like being Mayor Nick Guccione? What's it like to be Nick Guccione?
Well, it's good. It's been good in the city of Wentzville. I love Wentzville. I love the people here. It's been a blessing. We've got a lot accomplished. I was a council member first for 6 years as an alderman. I won my first election in 2007. First time I ran. Was involved in union politics before I got involved in public politics. But 2012 so I ran for mayor. It was the first 4-year term. They changed it to from a 2-year to a 4-year. So I was the first 4-year mayor elected in a 4-way race. It was pretty.
Really?
Yes, it was a 4-way race.
All right, so that's a lot of campaigning.
A lot of campaigning, knocking doors, talking to a lot of people, trying to get groups to support you, endorse you, and know what you stood for. And I was the new guy. The other people I ran against lived here for 30 and 40 years, so they had a lot more history than I had.
And you're from Florissant, right?
I'm from Florissant, correct.
When did you guys move here?
It's been 18 years now.
Okay, so you're not a lifelong
right.
Lifelong Wentzvillian.
Correct.
You came in and started. Did you make waves here, or did you just get to know people?
No, I just got to know people and
dove in the
community and seen some issues that I thought was important that I felt wasn't getting addressed, and so I focused on those issues and gave my word that I would get them resolved. I had solutions, and that's what I've always been about, solutions.
Right.
If there's a problem, trying to find a solution to it. So,
when you were in Florissant, were you political?
The mayor of Florissant was my neighbor, lived down the street from me. Mayor Egan, great guy, longtime mayor, and so I went to a lot of council meetings and watched what was going on. Kept attuned to what's going on in the community, but I wasn't really involved with because I had little kids.
Right.
Involved with public politics. So
right.
Focused on my kids and my family at the time.
But
I was involved with union politics at the time.
Okay, and I understand that you worked for the Schnooks family.
Yes, I worked for National Foods for 21 and a half years. Schnooks bought us out in 1995, so I went to work for the Schnooks family. All my seniority just dovetailed over to there.
Nice.
It was a great 21 years there, so
wow.
It was 43 years total.
So your leadership roles there, too. Did you start at the bottom and work your way up? Were you a bagger, or did you come in degreed with... And did you come in and it was in leadership?
I came in leadership. I was my family owned a Sea meat company, so I was a meat cutter.
Okay.
My grandfather taught me how to be a meat cutter.
Yeah, I've known of that company forever.
They taught me to cut meat when I was just a little kid, and
yeah.
So I went to work for National and became a meat manager. Started managing the meat department, and just kind of moved up through the ranks. And then, like I said, in '95, Schnooks hired us. They had their own supervisors and managers. So a couple of years, I just became a meat cutter, then went back into management. So I spent like 18 years as management with them.
Nice. And then you retired. So you moved out here while you were still working for for the Schnooks family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you manage one of these stores?
Yeah, Zumbill's, somewhat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, ones in St. Charles County, Lake St. Louis,
okay.
Schnooks, and they kind of moved you around, different stores, and you'd be there for 3 or 4 years. You couldn't count on it, so if something happened, somebody would move or something, they'd relocate them, so then they'd relocate you, and
right.
Just kind of moved you around a little bit to keep things fresh. So.
Yeah, sure. So how many employees did you have under you as a store manager? You were a store manager?
No. Just over the department.
Oh, the department. Okay.
The meat department, like deli,
so
seafood.
you'd have, 10, 12, 8?
Usually about 8 to 12 people.
Yeah.
So you had to make cutting lists and profitability and profit margins and...
to justify your department.
And right. And customer service was a big priority.
Oh, sure.
So that's what my background is, customer service, and I transferred that into politics because that's what people want.
Totally.
It's all about taking care of people and listening to them and trying to resolve.
Well, as a
things.
business owner, I've got a couple of health and wellness centers here in St. Charles County. Yeah, if we're not serving the customer, we're not in business.
Correct.
Right. So that leadership. Now going back, let's go back in time. Did you have as a kid? Were you into sports? What was your thing? Were you in like debate team, drama? What did you do?
No, it was just school, hung out with my friends. When I was 16, I joined the Job Corps. I don't know if you heard of the Job Corps.
My wife was in it, yeah.
Tried to get some structure.
She learned wastewater management.
Oh, really?
And
Cool.
she grew up in Anchorage, and
Lovely.
she actually dropped out of high school and went to Job Corps.
Yeah,
And
that's
got a wastewater management certificate.
It's a good program. So
It is.
when I got out of Job Corps, I went into the military and served almost 3 years in the military and had a lot of experiences. I went
Yeah.
to Korea. Spent 2 years, 18 months in Korea.
Did you?
And a little bit of time in Hawaii, and then got out and worked and raised met my wife and bought a house in Florissant and raised 2 kids. And just,
I lit my first house with my wife, Christine. It was in Ferguson.
Yeah.
I was right off Hudson Road.
I know where it's at.
You know that deli there.
Sure.
What was that deli called?
Uh,
Do you remember?
I'll think of it. But I
Right
can't
at Hudson and
right.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, because I lived off of Elizabeth for a while before I married my wife. I had a house on Millman,
Yeah.
right off of there. So
Yeah. So well,
a little grocery store there.
Yeah,
I can't remember
exactly.
the name
Right
of
there
it.
at the corner. And we'd get fillets there, and it was funny because I remember when we moved in, we get like a 6 or 7 ounce fillet, bacon wrapped fillet,
Right.
$4.
Yeah.
And then a couple
Try
years
that.
later, it was a 6 ounce fillet for $4, and then it was a 5 ounce fillet for $4. And
Yeah.
as we lived there, it kept getting a little smaller for the same price, but they were fabulous. But I loved it up there.
Yeah.
I loved it, and when we started having kids, we decided, because I grew up, Bowie
Sure.
family. We were in St. Charles for the last 100 and something years. I wanted to be out here with the schools and such, but loved it up there. What did you love about being in Ferguson or the Florissant area?
I just liked the growth, the way everything was. You didn't have to leave Florissant for anything. Everything was there.
Every service you need.
Anything you need, every service.
Yeah.
Great community parks, the services we had. So that's why I kind of transitioned here to Wentzville. Is we want the same type of atmosphere here
Right.
in Wentzville. You don't have to leave Wentzville for anything. But,
You know what? As a business owner, I'm always thinking about what am I going to bring to the community? How can I, what can I
Sure.
bring to the community that we don't have? And it's interesting you say that, and I know I'm jumping around, but
that's
okay.
all right. That's fine.
But when I think about business, like what do I want to open next? It's always what service does someone have to cross a bridge to buy, or what do you need to go to Chesterfield or Bridgeton or Maryland Heights for? Living in St. Charles County, and that's the business that we need here.
Right.
Whatever you have to drive across the bridge for.
Right, and we look for those opportunities, and Wentzville's growing. People want to be here, so we're getting a lot of
Wentzville.
interest right now.
Well, the growth is incredible. I mean, everywhere in this area, but Wentzville has really done something remarkable with this whole parkway.
Right.
So since you've been mayor, okay, so I am skipping around a lot. Sorry, guys,
That's all right.
but here we are back in Wentzville. You've got a wife and kids.
Right.
You're still with Schnucks.
No, I'm retired from.
You're retired from
I
Schnucks.
retired when I became mayor.
Well, I
put
mean,
full time into being
when
mayor.
you moved out here, you did.
Yes.
Yeah, you moved out here. You're still with Schnucks, and you're getting to know people in the community. You're just being you, right?
Right.
And then suddenly an opportunity to become an alderman comes up, and do you remembering back? What were some of the challenges back then that you thought were important enough to motivate you to give your time to the community? Because that's not a paid role.
No, it is a paid. It's very
Alderman
minimal.
is- alderman-
You make about $1.25 an hour if you're
Buck and a
lucky.
quarter? Okay, well,
Depends on how much time you put in, but
I got you.
I put a lot of time in. I started Coffee Talk. It's called Coffee Talk with the alderman. Mm-hmm. Where I'd have people come to my house and talk about issues that were concerning to them. So we started that, and then I went to the subdivisions, talked to groups of people. I went to different entities in the city, businesses. What do you need help with? What's the biggest struggle for you? And it kept coming back. The biggest thing was customer service responsiveness. They felt
Really?
like their elected officials were accessible and responsive. So that was my goal, to be accessible. And so my first election, I won by 7 votes. So that was my focus. I promised, gave my word, that I would be responsive and I would be accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And when I ran for every 2 years was a 2-year term, so I had to run for re-election. So that told me I was doing my job, because the second time I won, the first time I won by 7 votes, the same person ran against me that I beat in my second election, and I won by like 3-1. So
Yes, that had to feel good. So
that
that's
said, yeah,
affirmation that
I'm
you
on track with what I
kept
promised.
keeping
right?
your word. So you're going to homeowners association
absolutely.
meetings. You're having the coffee talk. And what are some of the things that the community was addressing back then? This was what, 2000 what?
2007, somewhere.
And what was on the community's minds back then? Like the consumer's mind. What did you
Well,
find?
back then it was like, we need this. We need more parks. We need more police officers. We need accessibility for entertainment venues, stuff like that.
Yeah.
More housing, diverse housing, traffic mitigation. There's like traffic issues and road
Just
improvements.
like all classic growth issues.
Yeah, just basic growth issues. So,
Yeah.
So being one vote, I can only do one vote. So
Right.
but I would bring things forward.
But
4061 was a big issue with the
Yeah.
tragedies we had on 4061. So my commitment was to get that project done in 2012. And how can I make that happen? Because you're talking about $16, $17 million.
Right.
It's not easy to come up with that funding.
No.
And I thank the county council and Steve Ellman for partnering with us because that's what made it happen. We got with MoDOT, and they said, we can't afford it. I said, okay, well, what if we put in $4.5 million in the city?
Right.
And county put in some money. So it was a three-way partnership to make that overpass and make that happen, which made it much safer. So.
Do you think that that's a unique quality of St. Charles County?
Oh, yeah.
The cooperation?
Absolutely, yeah. You couldn't ask for a better government. That I believe Steve Ellman and the county council, Joe Cronin, he's been there for me, for us out here with the growth area. Joe Brazel, all of them, Mike Elam, in partnerships and working with us to make things happen. So having those conversations, they're not always public, but
Right.
well, here's what we need, here's what you need to do, and they'll take things back to their council and just working through that partnership with the MoDOT as well. So we have a good relationship. They need help. This was within our boundaries, so we could justify the
Right.
expenditure.
Yeah, I find it interesting that not everything, but most things are what you want them to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if MoDOT, it would have been easy to say MoDOT can't afford this, so we can't do it.
Yeah.
People of good people of Wentzville, we
Sure.
can't do it. But you kind of got to think outside the box, and that's really what I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what a good what a good politician does.
Well, it wouldn't have happened had we not had that agreement, because we're the
Right.
first ones that did that. They're like, their eyes lit up when we told them we'll partner,
Right.
we'll come up with the funding. So they've never had it happen. So I think we're the first ones that I'm aware of that ever did that to make that happen. So that overpass and safety improvements and the cable barriers, and we had a lot of state officials
There's
jump
a
on
lot
board.
of infrastructure involved with highway mitigation.
Planning and funding and all that stuff. So
Now, was that all Wentzville's civil engineers that did that, or do you bring in state people, or I guess?
Oh no,
probably-
MoDOT had the final say
MoDOT,
pretty much,
yeah.
but they all work together.
Yeah.
Our engineers, our people, and then the people from Elman's office, the county.
Yeah.
So all three of them worked on it together, the best solutions, and they brought in several different designs, that I was privy to see. And at the end of the day, the best design was the one that won, and it wasn't the cheapest, but it wasn't about being cheapest.
Yeah.
It's about doing it right
Doing
the
it
first
right way.
time. So
Yeah.
we all agreed, and we all had to agree before we went forward.
So that's a huge achievement for you and,
Yes.
and your partners, your community leadership partners.
Right.
Can I ask you this? What's something that you wanted to get done that didn't get done?
So far, nothing. The post office, they need a new post office. We were told, no, it's not going to happen, over and over. And I said, no, it is going to happen. It's not even it's not within our preview. I don't have no control over the
Postal
office.
Service, right?
But I went out to Congressman Lukemeyer.
Yeah.
We had meetings with him. It's federal level, so I said, I need help with this. My economic developer here at the time was Dan Lang, and I said, Dan, how can we make this happen? Well, the issue was we had 3 different zip codes, So we had to get all those zip codes in there to prove the post office there is a need, because they're just looking at 63385, not all the other zip codes. Once we got that done, then they said, "Well, wow, you guys do need a new post office." So we got.
So it's really
it was
just
a lot of planning.
Yeah, that's exciting. Just knowing you can get things done. So you got to feel good about that.
Oh yeah, and this here building here, City Hall, we need a new City Hall. So when I was on the board, previous mayor, they were planning on a $28 million City Hall. And I kept saying, we don't need a $28 million. We could do it for a lot less, $15 million, $20 million. So we planned for that. We put the money in reserve, 45% of our budget saved. So we paid cash for this building.
Did you really?
No bonding.
There's no
tax.
debt on this building?
No debt. We paid
The city
cash.
of Wentzville owns this building free and clear.
Yes, free and clear.
That's powerful.
And we took
Yeah.
five buildings, combined them into one. So you save money on all the maintenance of those buildings and the electric and utilities.
So does the city own those buildings, and you're
No, we
leasing
were
them? Or
leasing
you
some
were
of
you
them,
were
yeah.
renting. You were leasing.
Yes.
Okay. So
And now they're businesses. Now they're other businesses.
That's incredible.
So everything's here in City Hall. You have a one-stop shop. You got court. You got your board meetings. You got public works, traffic engineers, all of our engineers, parks department, finance, procurement. all in one building.
Yeah.
The mayor, I'm here.
Yeah, well, here you are. And yeah, so I'm sitting in the mayor's office. It's a great office. You got some family stuff. You got the American flag. You got some photos and looks like some awards. And
Yep. Yeah,
I see some bald eagles up there. What are those?
Just eagles I collect over the years. I got so many at home. I want to bring some here to kind of make me feel a little bit at home because I love eagles. It's my favorite bird, and just want to decorate a little bit, and so I brought them with me.
I see a sign on your desk there, right? But we're sitting at his conference table, and his desk right behind him. It says. It's one of those name tags, and probably your wife did that, or one of your staff.
No, the city clerk did.
The clerk did it. It says it's always something.
Yeah.
So
because it is every day. It's something new. It's like when you get over one hurdle, there's another hurdle to accomplish it.
How much of your day do you actually get to plan?
I spend 7 days a week being mayor. If somebody needs me for something, I'm there. If there's a meeting Sunday or somebody wants me to look at their
streets.
And
that's not a job requirement, is it?
No, there's no requirement.
So one thing that I noticed about you. And you've got a great social media presence, and people love you, and I love that people love you.
Some people, they beat me up a little time.
I'm sure you probably...
They like to be mad at me when things are going... And I understand it. I understand there's got maybe things in their life that aren't going good, and they want to be mad at somebody. That's me. I'm there.
Well,
you can be mad
it's
at me.
part of your job
right.
as, leader of this township, per se.
Right.
And it's not a figurehead role for you, is it?
No, it's really not.
You're active. You've got a great social media presence. You're out at ribbon cuttings. You're out at business openings. You're at meetings. You don't have to work that hard for your pay.
No.
Do you?
No. Other mayors, they don't have to do anything. Just show up and
there are
run
some
a meeting,
mayors that
board
are
meeting.
They're figureheads, and they get the tying vote.
Yeah, but most of our mayors in St. Charles County, they're pretty active too.
They are.
I don't know if they're as active as me, but I have great friendships with them, and I know they're very involved in their communities as well. We've all won awards. I won award 2014 for Best of Best from Streetscape Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
2018, I won it from Post-Dispatch. Mayor Pagano won it, I think, 2 years before that.
I've gotten to know him a little bit.
He's
He's amazing. Since I opened the center in St. Peter's, I've gotten to know.
He's a great guy.
Great dude. And some of the aldermen there, I've gotten to know a little bit, but I don't know them real well. And I'm really never in Wentzville. I just picked you as my first local mayor because you got a great social media presence and you seem like a nice guy. But what do you love about being mayor?
I'd love to see the accomplishments. Since I became mayor, we've had 3 new parks, Splash Station, Prue Hills Park, and Heartland Park. Mm-hmm. And we've been able to, and that's not only me, that's working with the council, but we've been able to get all-inclusive playground, Jake's Field of Dreams in that park as well. So everybody's included. It's great. My heart aches when I go see the kids all get to interact with each other and play. Recreational center. That was a big thing for me in 2016. People said we need a recplex, and so we don't call it that. It's a Wentzville Recreational Center.
Right.
But it's under construction, hopefully opening. We're looking to maybe August. It's 98,000 square feet. It has esports in it, 2 pools.
Wow.
It's got a walking trail, a walking track, cardio room, a daycare center, a senior center. Mm-hmm. It's just to get that done, $42 million. It's not like we pulled it out of the air.
You got to
do
justify
some creative
it.
Creative thinking to get it done, and low cost, low impact. No tax increase. We did a SID, which is a retail sales tax to pay for it.
Okay.
There were some people unhappy about it, but I think most people at the end of the day, they wanted it. The majority, 85% of the people that fill out the survey wanted it.
Yeah.
So you can never please everybody, but my reward was to get it, and we got it. So.
It's not a fair question, but I'll ask it anyway.
Let's go.
Is this a real political job?
Not for me, because I've had the opportunity to run for higher office. We just had a state rep seat open up here. I actually was asked to run for that. They polled me at like 80%. I could have won handedly. I like being connected to people. I've been up to Jeff City multiple times, and it's hard to get anything done. I've got 6 aldermen here I can usually work with to get something done.
Right.
So I've been asked to run for Senate to replace Bob Onder, and it's not something I want to do. I'm just happy being mayor right now. Maybe it may be in the future, I don't know, but right now I'm just happy being mayor. And I just want to, there's some other things I want to get done.
When you were working in retail and management, did you want to be in politics?
Yeah, I did. I did want to be part of it, part of the process, make a difference. I didn't realize I'd be mayor, but when when I was alderman, the former mayor, him and I had a pretty good relationship, and he was not going to run for re-election. And people asked me, said, it's time for you to step up, And I thought about it, and I thought long and hard. My wife said, you're going to be attacked. You know how politics get. You've seen them out here. And I said, well, you know what? I'm just running a positive campaign, and God's in God's hands.
Yeah.
If I'm the one he wants to be mayor, I'll be mayor. And it worked out.
How's your wife like being first lady of Wentzville?
She doesn't get into politics.
She's not involved?
No, she'll see somebody say something negative on social media. She kind of grunts her teeth.
The hair raises up, hunches up on her back.
It's just 1% that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can't make everybody happy, but no, she likes what I do. She says you're happy, and she's been very supportive. We've been married 45 years. We've never argued in 25 years, so
wow,
everything is pretty good.
Yeah.
So she supports me 100% what I do.
So let me ask you now. Let's just take a little thought break here. So tell me about your family.
Well, I got like I said, my wife. We've been married 45 years. Her dad was my best friend. He kept asking me to take her out when I got out of the military, and I said, well, she's just a kid. There's no way, There's no way. But he kept bugging me, and she turned 17, and I said, well, I'm 5 years older than her. I'll take her to a show or something. So I did.
Right.
And, well, the rest was history.
What'd you see?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you saw?
I don't remember what I saw. I think it wasn't Rocky. I can't remember. It's been so long ago, I can't remember. She probably does so. But I went to a movie, and then, a couple weeks later out to dinner, and her dad just kept, my daughter really likes you, and I think you're a good guy. I'd like to see you with her, so that's what happened. So we had 2 kids, and now we got 2 grandkids.
Yeah,
and,
nice. Are your kids local here? They move?
No, my kids are local here. My son's 44, and he still lives at home. Not
awesome.
Married. He loves to stay home with his mom and dad, and that's fine with me.
That's awesome.
And
yeah.
my daughter just bought a house, the next subdivision over from me, and my
and for
grandkids
people
walk up
listening
to the
who are
house.
saying, man, it's crazy. 44 living. You know what? I've got an 18-year-old son, and I'm not done with him.
Yeah.
I don't want him to move. I want him to go to college or do what he wants to do, but I want him to stick around, man. I love him.
Well, I like having my kids around too, and he helps me, cutting grass, and we got an in-ground pool. He helps keep the maintenance up, and he's just an all-around good big help to me.
Awesome.
And he goes deer hunting, so I'll go with him. I don't kill nothing. I don't hunt, but I'll go with him.
Just be out in the woods.
Just out in the woods with him, spend some time together, and like to watch nature. I take some pictures and stuff, but yeah, we still have a good relationship, so it's good to have him around.
What do you and your wife do for fun, for entertainment? What do you guys do? What's your thing?
Well, my big thing was I used to like to fly, but I don't do that anymore.
You're a pilot?
I used to, 172 Cessnas, but don't do that anymore. It got too expensive, so I kind of got out of that. I play golf sometimes. So I'm not very good at it. I don't really enjoy it, but it's kind of a necessary thing.
When did you buy a set of golf clubs?
I don't have them anymore. I sold them a couple of years ago, but I haven't played in a couple of years. But my brother-in-law is a fanatic, so when he comes up, he brings an extra set of clubs, and he lives down at the lake. So
when I opened my first Osteostrong Center in O'Fallon, I thought, well, I gotta, it's time for me to get involved in the chambers and the community. I need to learn how to play golf. Yeah. So I bought some clubs, took some lessons, went to the driving range, and I got to where I wasn't a hazard. Like I could actually hit it somewhere forward, Right. And I never played around a golf, and I still own the clubs.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good to have them, I guess, but I got rid of mine because I didn't. My son played for a while.
Yeah.
He liked it, but I told him he could have the clubs, and we had garage sale one day and sold them. And but there's always a golf tournament going on.
Yeah.
And if you're not at least halfway decent, it's embarrassing. So the last time I played was at Whitmore, and people behind me just said, "Just pick up the ball and throw it."
Just throw it.
So that was it for me. I said, "No more."
So
but yeah, really, that's all we do. We hang around with the kids and family.
Yeah.
And, sometimes go up to the lake in the Ozarks, stuff like that. But
get some vacations now and again.
Yeah, once in a while we go to Florida. It's been about 5 years because my mother-in-law lives with us now, so we don't like to leave her by herself.
Yeah,
and she won't go to Florida.
Well, it seems like you love your work.
Yeah, I do. I love what I do. I put all my time into it.
Yeah,
and I got great staff here. I mean, they're amazing. If you need something done, they can get it accomplished. They're very good people, great people to work with.
So tell me about flying. When did you start flying?
I started right after we got married. It was something I always wanted to do, so I bought block time, and I had my VA benefits, so I used some of them, and it just got too expensive. My wife wouldn't go with me.
Yeah.
And I used to get aggravated and say, wait a minute, you'll go on a plane with 2 pilots you don't even know, with 300 people you don't even know, and full of luggage, but you won't get in a plane with me. And she would wait at the airport for me to come back and land and do my training, touch and goes and stuff.
Yeah.
she would never get in with me. But I took some people that I worked with up and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it was fun, but it's an expensive hobby. Very
It is.
expensive.
I started flying in 2020.
Oh,
I
you
started
still got your
taking
pilot
lessons.
license?
Well, I just started.
Oh, okay.
I never.
I got all the stuff right there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I never wanted to fly. I never had that dream. But with the pandemic in 2020, business dropped off.
Right.
I had some time on my hands. So I'm just cruising the net, and I saw Groupon
Yeah.
for a discovery flight. And I thought, well, that sounds fun. So I went up and just, saw the,
Sure.
like your eagles. We up at St. Charles. We just flew over Grafton. I saw some birds and saw the trees and when we landed, Nick is crazy because everything was fine until we came into land, and the instructor that was with me was wonderful. But I saw that runway coming at me. It wasn't that we were going down to it. I saw the ground coming up to me.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, and it was thrilling.
Yeah.
And we landed, and I signed up that day. And then 3 months later, I bought a plane. And now I fly, even now, 3-4 times a week,
Wow.
just for fun.
Yeah.
It's what a
expensive
joy.
hobby.
It is. Airplanes aren't that expensive to buy.
No,
Maintaining them.
Maintain them, the annuals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The fuel
Yeah,
costs.
fuel's crazy. $7 a gallon
Is that what it
now
is
for
now?
aviation
Wow.
fuel. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and now my son's taking lessons, so it's fun. It's a great hobby.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, it's spendy for sure.
Yeah.
So, with the expansion of Wentzville, what are some challenges that you see coming up? What's something you can tell me about that you see from a vision casting perspective? Let's assume that you're going to be mayor forever. Okay, pretend you're going to be mayor forever.
Okay.
What do you want to see Wentzville become?
Well, Wentzville being the fastest growing city, it's going to continue to grow. And I see us being right around 95,000, like O'Fallon, St. Peter's, because everything's coming this way.
Yeah, I think O'Fallon's like 92.
92, something like that.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be bigger than that. At the rate of growth we've had and continues. The transportation is the biggest issue for me. Right now we've got $72 million that's budgeted and funded. So we're funded it already. It's ready, just trying to get those projects going forward. We put 20% of our tax dollars into it, and then we get 80% from County Road Board, CMAC.
That's
Eastway
important for
Gateway.
people to know.
Yeah.
That when you're spending money and you have a tax or whatever it is, I don't know how that works, but when you're taking taxpayers' money,
Right.
the state's paying a
Big chunk.
and even federal.
Right.
There are federal funds available, so it's not the entire burden of the local taxpayer.
Correct. And we go out for grants or anything, any kind of funding mechanism we can. But we got $72 million right now for transportation over the next 4.5-5 years. So
Is
you'll see a
any
lot
of-
of improvements.
Is any of that for that straightening out that
S curve.
Yeah.
That's
all
all
totally
that's all MoDOT.
That's totally separate.
Separate.
So
separate.
Wentzville isn't going to be paying for any of that.
No. We did push on that for a long time because it was never in a 20-year plan. And I went before the Transportation Commission twice and spoke on how important that project was, as well as some others. And we've been pushing Steve Ellman, a lot of us. It finally got in a 20-year plan. It's finally got funded. So 23 is when we're going to start that project. That's strictly MoDOT.
That's going to be what, a three-year plan, construction
I
project?
think 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years?
Yeah. They've got to build a new overpass, a train trestle. Railroad's not putting any money into it.
Right.
They can't make them do anything.
No.
They're very powerful, so they'll have to build a new train trestle and then widen it and tear down the other one, widen it, put the shoulders and extra lanes in. A lot of safety improvements.
That's going to be outstanding.
Yes,
That's
I'm
going to be
looking
a
forward.
big deal for this community.
Been a lot of accidents over there, a lot of deaths. And it's not always the road. I mean, I hate to say that because people get mad, but it's inattentiveness. A lot
It
of
is.
it. A lot, not all of it, but a lot of it. There's been some DWIs, been some texting while driving, not paying attention, and there have been some truck drivers too that have moved over during blind spots, moved over, caused accidents. But it needs a lot of improvements.
Are those plans available for people to see on the
Yes,
county, on the
a MoDOT
Wentzville-
website.
On the MoDOT website,
Yeah.
so people can get on.
We'll put them on ours as soon as they're finalized. Their plans, but
Gotcha.
they're on MoDOT's and probably St. Charles County.
So, what about the expansion of the parkway south of Highway 4060?
That starts next year.
70. I'm sorry, 70 right there.
Yeah, that starts next year, the south extension to the Parkway.
And that's going to connect all the way down to that commercial area
Yes.
where I guess the steakhouse is.
The Bluffs, yeah, it's
The
called the
Bluffs,
Bluffs
yeah.
area, right. Interstate Drive,
Right.
yeah. So I'll connect it there, and it's Highway Z. We also got funding for Highway Z, to widen Highway Z. much needed project there. West Meyer's being done now. That's under construction.
I just drove down West Meyer, and my parents years ago lived in Forestdale, and I remember it was 2-lane.
Right. Yeah.
And that's beautifully expanded now.
It's
so
expanded because of the school. They put a school in
Right.
there, so we moved that project up a little sooner than what it should have been. But then there's a new park out there too. The county bought. Mr. Elman bought the county bought a park, 199-acre park. It's called Oglesby Park, and so that's at the end of West Meyer. And we got Rotary Park, so another great amenity to the community. 199 acres, a big
What
park.
about a public airport for us pilots?
It'd be nice to have. We had one here one time, a little strip.
We got
center.
Greensfield.
Yeah.
That Greensfield is a public. And
Right.
I actually talked to Mr. Green. I called him one day, just out of the blue, and I had a quick question for him, but we talked for about an hour. Great guy. But I mean that's one of the things that I love, and just as an aside, one of the great things about aviation, it's much like motorcycles or any other thing that you do with your boating. There's a great community, and what we do is we fly somewhere and have a meal.
Right.
We do a fly-in, or we have a car show, air show, or stuff like that, right?
Right.
Plugging my buddies with Extreme Electric. They hosted a wonderful car show and fly-in up at St. Charles Airport, stuff like that.
Right.
And when I'm daydreaming, I'm not a politician, but when I'm daydreaming, I think about things like that.
Yeah.
What are some things that the community can do to get more involved? The people listening to this podcast, obviously the big ones are like, don't complain, do something. Like get a hold of your alderman, get involved. But what are some things that you'd like to tell the community about? How do we make this a great place?
Right. Well, there's some things I'm actually working on now. We have the police academy that you could join. Go through. We have CERT team. Citizens Emergency Response. They have Teen CERT. There's several organizations you can be involved. There's a historical society. There's a community club organization. There's a Lions Club. There's all kind of organizations that you can belong to. But the thing I'm working on now is I'm actually having a town hall on the 16th of July at 9 o'clock at City Hall. And I've got a lot of people said they're coming. So I'm having an overall general discussion about public safety, about what we're doing as far as MACTAC training, as far as school safety with the shooting in Texas.
Huge issue.
I'm trying to be
now.
proactive and get ahead of it, and I've tried for years, but I'm always told stay out of my lane because the school's not my lane. But there's some point I said, no, I'm going to get out of my lane at this point. So I did.
That doesn't sound like that stopped you.
No, it didn't stop me because I don't feel like nobody's doing anything, so we got to do something.
Yeah.
So now they're having training. They've been doing training on this MACTAC, the St. Charles County as a whole, and their response. Because what happened in Texas should have never happened, in my opinion.
No.
So I try to push this issue with the school district. I'm working with a couple of the board members. I've talked to a new superintendent coming in. Dad's on duty. It's in Michigan. I think it's Michigan.
I've heard about that.
To let volunteer dads come into school and walk the halls and just the
There'll be some training, some certifications.
There'll be
involved,
training and certification, background checks.
But what dad wouldn't do that? I'm in.
I would
I'm not
do
even
it.
in
I'd
your
do it.
district.
I would love to do it.
Right.
But just that presence has showed me that it's reduced bullying. It's reduced incidents where kids are getting drunk in the bathroom, jacked up, with other kids. And that's a big issue in Wentzville, not just the schools, but in the community, bullying. And I'm talking about social media bullying. So I've been putting out a lot of information about bullying and what to look for.
I've seen that
and that's why I'm doing it, because I want the community to stop, knock it off. People, be kind.
Right.
Let's work together. I can't fix the world, but I can try to fix Wentzville.
Yeah, your local space, for sure.
Yeah. So that's my big thing right now. My big challenge is to get people to be more respectful. And you never know what somebody's going through, So I'm respectful. Everybody's opinion, whether political, whatever side they're on, I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. We just need to be respectful. And,
Certainly not by arguing.
No,
That's
what
never
do you
been
accomplish?
effective. Yeah.
So that's my big goal right now, is working on that to try to make our community stop the bullying on social media. You don't like somebody's opinion. I learned a long time ago, don't give them a stage. If somebody's being negative, don't talk to them. Don't respond. Let it go.
That's
then
funny.
Who they hurting? They're hurting themselves. They're not hurting you.
Totally. One of the things, I've been a musician my whole life, and when social media came up, I learned really quick that not everybody deserves a microphone.
Right.
Right? There's a reason that guy, who comes up and wants to sing, some Skinner. It's
Sure.
like there's a reason you don't let him come up. You don't give him the mic. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
But everybody has a voice and ought to be heard.
Right.
But delivering that message in a way that's and this isn't even a word, but that's hearable.
Right. Right.
And do you find, when I was talking with Mike Elam, I asked him, what's different now in politics than when you started? So let me ask you
Sure.
that. I don't want you to tell. I'll tell you what Mike said, but I want to hear it from you. When you first became an alderman and you served the community, and then you stepped up and you became mayor, you took on that role, and now you're leading this arena.
Right.
What's changed in politics?
I think people become more involved, maybe more aware, which is good. It's a good thing to have. Engaged citizens make good government. You need to have checks and balances, people to watch what you're doing and be accountable. But they're angry over it. Really, they don't. Some people get angry over it. They don't know the facts. Why somebody voted for something? Why is this process the way it is? Or and just disagreement. When you're in politics, you're elected to make a decision, and you're not going to make 50% of people happy. If you do, you're lucky. But somebody's going to be upset about something you
Right.
voted on, no matter what. But your local government affects your daily life more than federal and state.
It really does.
Yeah, because you're here locally. So
And
we
it's
hear
interesting that people are more in tune
Yes.
with national government than they are local, and they really should be involved with local
I
government.
agree. But
What Mike said was that what's changed, like one of the things, and I think maybe the conversation led itself to this, but Nick, what he said was that he's noticed, even since he's been in politics as a county councilman, that people have they've just become mean.
mean-spirited, yes.
In a council meeting, somebody will stand up and interrupt and verbally attack.
Right.
Like start calling you names. It's, forget Robert's Rules of Order.
Right.
But just vitriol.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, we have. We've seen it, and I watch every county council meeting, as a matter of fact, and I've seen that happen there, as well as O'Fallon. I watch all the school board meetings. If I can't attend, I watch them online, so I know, what's going on around me. But I've seen what's happened here. Yeah, it's happened here. Somebody will call me out. I've had people say, hey, you should be impeached. These are people that ran against me and lost.
Right.
So just for no reason. It's called political bullying because you can't respond. When you have open forum, you cannot debate or discuss. So you have to sit there and eat everything they say and just, swallow your pride and just move on because you can't argue and debate it.
Right.
But it happens. It does happen. It's frustrating, but it's happened to us in our council meetings as well. Not as often as it does in the county, but it has happened.
I think city level, a friend of mine, I won't say who, but you know him, we had lunch last year, and I told him, I used to be involved in politics. I used to be politically active in my 30s, mid-30s, but it wasn't healthy. I was one of those guys. Like I was somebody who would just get defensive and stand up for this and get heated, and I realized that wasn't healthy. And it wasn't good for my marriage or my kids, so I just dumped. I cut and ran. I got out of political activism. And then 4 or 5 years ago, I became interested again, but with a new, more mature standpoint. And I've totally forgotten my point, but that's okay because this is relevant. Just being real, but being able to make. Being able to share. Oh, I totally remember. He said I told him I was interested in politics and maybe getting involved and growing in my. Now I live in Weldon Springs, so I live in a wonderful community.
Yeah.
The mayor, the staff
Great friend of
there
mine,
is
Don.
super people through and through. And but this friend said, you know what? If you're going to get in politics, he says, if you don't have designs to go to state or national, stay city.
Right.
Don't go county.
Right. County's rough. It's pretty rough because there's so many issues. I think COVID had a lot to do with a lot of issues that people were upset about. The mask mandates. We never did mask mandate. There was no mask mandate. So
Never.
I couldn't understand why people were saying Mr. Elman did a mask mandate. Well, he didn't.
He never
He
did.
pushed it off on us. He said, if the mayors want to do it, well, I don't have the authority to do it, and I would have done it anyway. But that's a personal choice.
That was such a polarizing thing
it was
for a community.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And still, people are wearing masks, and now there's a kind of a resurgence of COVID again. We're getting a lot of cases.
Right.
But, yeah, I think we did it right.
I think so, too.
I think Elman nailed it.
Yeah. He said, let people decide what they want to do. And he did, but somebody was running against him was saying he did mandates, and the school did mandates. Well, the school, different entity, he did not tell them what to do. The health department did. Mm-hmm. So they followed the CDC guidelines. It wasn't Steve.
Yeah, that's the school board.
So it's like, and he had to sit there and they're accusing him of all this. And I'm watching this and going, no, he did not do that.
You don't understand how it
works. It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
So people don't really understand. That's what's frustrating. That they don't understand how the process works or what was done. Or instead of coming and talking independently, because I'm not sure Steve, if you called him and say, hey, I want to meet with you about this mask, he would tell you the truth,
Yeah.
But they don't do that. They come to a county meeting, and now they've got power because they could speak to you, but you can't say nothing back. So you can't.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know you
fair.
couldn't defend.
No,
you just simply receive, and then maybe you can correspond afterwards.
Well,
right?
you have like your reports. Like I got the mayor's report at the end of the agenda. You could respond there in your mayor's report, but by that time everybody's gone, so it's on the record.
The issue is over.
It's over.
Right, yeah.
But when there's a crowded house, they've got the stage. He could set up the agenda where he could have a rebuttal section after the open forum. I think we've considered that sometimes, but I don't really think we should get into debate or discussion.
It's almost. Is it just more healthy to let them get it off their chest?
Let them get it off their chest.
If they're interested in the rebuttal, they'll find it.
Right.
Yeah, because most of the time they're not interested in the rebuttal.
They're mad about something they don't have all the facts, and they Google something and quote something out of Google.
Yeah.
But people in general, they just want to be heard. They want to be heard. And I know, like I said, some people are mad. I would rather come and talk to me before you get mad. And then if I'm wrong, then be mad. But don't be mad when you don't know.
If somebody has a problem with something having to do with Wentzville, what are the steps they should take?
My phone number's public. You call me or text me, email
Seriously,
me.
they can just go straight to you.
Yeah, come straight here. Come City Hall.
And you'll.
I'll go meet them. Yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe it's call your alderman, get involved that way, and step up and get involved. But that's pretty remarkable. Then
some of them don't. Some of the aldermen work. Like one's a police officer. So they don't know. They're not all retired. I think one is retired, but they all have jobs, full-time jobs. So for them, it's not full-time, and it's not full-time. I don't get paid. If I make $1.25 an hour, it's based on the hours I put in. But you don't do it for the money. But I take the calls they don't take, and sometimes I'll see it on social media. Somebody complained about, hey, they didn't pick up my trash
and
today.
you might just step in or something.
So I just step in and I said, somebody said, they didn't pick up my trash. So
and I've seen that on Facebook and I love that about you. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get on this podcast with you is because that, and of course this podcast is all about people who influence people. And I think, and for you listeners listening, you kind of, before we started, you're like, well, why do you want to talk to me? I'm like, no,
I'm nobody special.
It's like you are an influence, and people see that, and I think you nailed it. I think that's wise because it takes a humble person with a servant's heart to do this.
Yeah, I've always tried to be a public servant more than a politician. I really don't like being a politician because that's. You got to tell people what they want to hear sometimes, not what they need to hear. So I tell them they might not like the answer, but I'm going to give them the truth,
Right.
And sometimes I've mistaken the truth. I mean, I was told by my staff something, and found out, well, that was a mistake. It's not, I have to repeal that one and put this up. Like a water main break. Well, it affected this area. Well, it actually affected this area, but,
Yeah.
Just
that's just human
but
stuff.
this is human error, but it don't happen that often. It don't happen that often, but I try to keep people updated. I share information except police stuff, like police stuff's going on, there'll be cops surrounding a house or something. What's going on with that house? I'm not going to tell you about it because that's up to the police. That's an investigation. So when they release that to me, then I would put it up.
Right.
But I don't put that up. But anything else that's going on, they're stealing gas because of the gas prices went up now. So be careful. They're starting to hit gas, siphon gas.
Well, we've seen crime. How is crime in Wentzville? Like, what's the state of Wentzville crime-wise?
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, we were. I think we're third safest city in the state at one time. I don't know where we're at now. It keeps changing.
Well, the county is incredibly safe in general.
In general, it is.
And St. Charles is, I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but St. Charles County is, I believe, the healthiest physically county in the state of Missouri, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, 440-something thousand people are here. So.
And literally, like, physically healthy, as far as, like, doctor visits and obesity and diabetes, all these health concerns. St. Charles County is really a healthy county.
And the things we have is small stuff. People leave their cars unlocked, and
Yeah.
And most of the people they catch are people from outside the city.
Right.
They think they're easy targets, so they car break-ins, stuff like that. But as far as murders, anything like that, violent crime, home break-ins, we don't have a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, bullying is the biggest thing right now, I think. For me, it's just
Yeah, it's all
getting people to kind of get along with their neighbors.
the trappings
and
of
stuff.
my social media and
Yeah.
everybody get a microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Some dog went to the bathroom in my yard. Talk to your neighbor.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Go ask them not to. Yeah. Hey, what's something that professionally, something that keeps you up at night, or
Well,
does anything keep you up?
Yeah,
at
pretty
night?
much. I don't go to sleep till probably 1:00 in the morning. Just think about things that come up, and then I make a lot of notes. Something will pop in my head about something I would like to see the city do, or something that benefits the community, and so I'll make notes about it so I don't forget, and then watch a movie for a while. But usually I'm in bed I fall asleep by 2 and I get up by 4 or 5.
Do you
I
let
got
this
sleep
ro-
apnea. I got sleep apnea,
Oh,
so
do you
I'm on a
really?
CPAP machine, but
Well,
doesn't
those are
really
cool
help.
now with
Yeah,
Top
I
Gun
don't like
being
them,
out.
but-
I mean, you
Yeah.
can.
Doesn't help much, but I get about 4 or 5 hours a night of sleep. But my mind's always wondering, thinking of things.
And
How can I leave my mark? How can I do better? What can I do to make Wentzville a better place? And when I'm gone, people remember me for something.
So, there are a lot of ways to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
You can leave a legacy of love
Sure.
in your family. You can leave a legacy of finances. You can leave a legacy of community engagement, or a lot of things. What do you want your legacy to be for the city of Wentzville? What do you want 100 years from now, when someone's going, oh man, let's look at through all the mayors of the last 100 years. What do you want yours to say?
They cared about the people. He was a mayor for the people. I'm here for them. That's what I ran on. That was my platform, mayor for the people. So that's what I try to hold myself to. And my grandkids live here. When I'm gone, my names are on the parks, on the wastewater treatment plant, and be on the recplex, city hall. So I'm leaving something behind that I've accomplished. So
the growth of the community since you became mayor, and I didn't know the former mayor, and let's just assume he was an awesome guy.
yeah,
The growth of this community, a lot of it has to do with just our county in general, but there's been a lot of growth
yes,
in your terms,
Right.
in your while you've been mayor, is what I'm trying to say. What has been hard?
let me see. What's been hard is the up and down with people move in from, they've been there maybe 3, 4, 5 years, and they don't like the growth. Then you got the people been here for a long time. What do you think they didn't like? They didn't like us coming and changing our community. So I respect the old town, Wentzville, some of that history. I respect that. Try to keep that in place without disrupting it. But people come here and I've been here 3 years, and where's so much traffic on the Parkway? We don't need this. We don't need that. Why are you approving another bank? Why? I don't approve anything. I only have a vote and a tie, so the board approves it. But I support it. I'm the devil's advocate, so I'll speak. And if it's good for the city, I'll speak in favor of it.
And that's your opinion
And my
as
opinion.
mayor, and that's
I try
that's your job.
Yeah, try to influence the board or guide them to what I think is best for because they're looking at their ward. I'm looking at the whole city. Oh, I lose something here. I think it is.
No, we're good. We're still rolling. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I look at the whole city as a whole, not just the ward as a ward, a boundary. So what's going to bring in revenue to the city? What's going to bring in revenue to help the city grow and keep, hire more police officers and public safety and all that. So I think it's challenging. When I was an alderman, there were people complaining because they said, "Well, we got all these empty fields. We need some more houses built. We need this kind of restaurant. We need that kind of restaurant." Well, then you focus on bringing those in, and when they're here, then there's people that don't want them here. They've only
Right.
been here for a few years. I said, "Well, you impacted the city. That was a field when you moved."
Right. That was somebody.
had they
There
not
were
built
cows
it-
there, and now you're living there.
Right.
Right.
So I don't think they get the concept. And I'm kind of from the old school. If you own property, you have a right to develop it. You have a right. Landowner has a right to sell it. And if you don't like what's being built there, then you buy it and you can do whatever you want with it.
That's true. We have a lot of freedom here.
Right. A lot
Yeah.
of freedom. So.
So
But don't stop somebody else from building.
the city limits of Wentzville contains a lot of open land,
Right. Yeah.
And are you constantly thinking, wow, what could we bring in? Or, right across from we're looking out your window in your office right now, and there's some large lots. We've got some commercial space. I guess we've got subdivisions, but we've got a large tract of land here. Are you constantly thinking as mayor, like, well, what are we going to do with that? Is it a strategy for you? Are you thinking strategy?
It is for us as staff. We have a land use plan and a comprehensive plan, so all that's all set up, what it's zoned for certain businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So we're constantly reaching out to them. We're trying to get a Dunkin' Donut because that's what people ask for a while. So hopefully
I hear the
close.
coffee's good.
Yeah, the coffee's real good. But I'm not sure about the donuts, but we'd love to have a Dunkin' Donut here just because people want one. Yeah, we're always looking at what I watch social media here. We want this, we want that. So if I hear it enough, I know that's something I need to focus on.
Then you need to start thinking about it.
If it's just one or twice, it's not a priority. So I try to get with my people to let's focus on trying to get this here. But yeah, we do have a lot of open land, and but farmers own this land, and they're profiting off it. The properties went up so much that they want to sell it.
Yeah, now's a good time if you're getting
Right.
old and you don't want to
Enjoy your life,
Yeah.
spend that money, enjoy your life. Go take a trip around the world.
For sure. Now, how long do you want to be mayor?
People could fire me every 4 years. So
Will you
that's
keep
why I look
going
at-
if people
Yeah,
want you to do it?
yeah,
You'll
I
keep
will.
going.
I enjoy.
I mean, I think about Don Licklider, right?
Yeah, he's
I
been
mean,
there a long time.
he
Long guy.
takes a licking and keeps ticking, right? And you know what? He's an amazing man.
He is a good friend of mine, and he's got a heart of gold, and he's hard for the people, and just a great guy. I'm blessed to know him. Truly am. But I've got a lot of friends. I mean, Bill Eigel and senators up there, Jeff City and Brian Spencer and Robert Conejo. He was a rep, so a lot of connections with a lot of
Mhm.
people. Endorsed a couple of guys running for judge, and so I built a lot of good relationships. Got a great prosecutor here, Tim Lomar, one of the best.
Amazing.
He is an amazing guy. So we're blessed to have him.
He is a diamond.
Yeah, that's why we don't have crime. That's why we don't have
I
crime.
know. He's tough, and he's just a good guy.
He is super.
He
good.
gets it.
Yeah. So and he's got a lot of respect out there from the officers because he don't play around. But
Yeah.
but I think in all, we got a great. As long as people want me to stay, I will stay, and I just hope that whoever takes my place in the future would continue to do what I do. At least be responsive, get out in the community. Be there for the people.
What's something that people misunderstand about your role?
They think I'm responsible for the school district. I'm in charge of the fire district. Those are separate government entities. I'm in charge of MoDOT. I'm not the mayor like mayor of New York or something.
Right. So what are you in charge of in Wentzville?
The city, basically the city overall. But the fire district's a separate government entity. The school district's separate. I have no authority over them. And the library district and the community college, that's all separate. The post office, that's separate. So I'm responsible basically for public safety for all those other entities.
Right. Right.
And I do take it very seriously. I stay up at night when it happened in Texas and Sandy Hook and all that. We constantly have meetings, and
Right.
and I keep on my chief to keep continuous training and always be
I
on
don't
the
know
alert.
I haven't met with the police department here, but I'm involved with the chambers with the John Squared with the fire department.
Yeah, John Snyder.
John
Great guy,
and
great guy.
John. John
Yeah.
Schneider, John Ledoux. Went to
Yeah.
high school with John Ledoux.
Oh, did you really? Yeah.
Yeah, so
They came
we-
from my area, from Blackjack back in the day, and I was in Florida.
Yeah. Great guys.
Yeah, they are.
So they got a great operation there.
Yeah.
What would you consider as mayor, if you want to answer this, if you
Okay.
don't know, what your biggest failure? Or do you feel like you've really had any? Like, because it sounds like you've accomplished your goals. I mean, have you had a failure?
I would say, I guess my wife always says, you want everybody to like you, and it's not going to happen. And that's my biggest failure, I think. I don't have everybody. There's always a group or a small percentage that you could win it. Like my wife just says, they could win $1 million, and they complain about the taxes.
Right.
But you've done everything that you can for people, and sometimes people don't appreciate it. And that's my biggest failure is what do I have to do to get through this to everybody? I want us to be, I want it to be a community of, that everybody's included. I'm not wading anybody out. But if you're going to attack me over something, I have my own personal social media. It's my own personal page, not a city page. I will take you off that page. I'm not going to have negativity on there.
Right, right.
I just don't allow it. I just don't allow people to attack other people.
What's the biggest compliment you've received as mayor?
that I've made a big difference in Wentzville since I've been here. They've contributed to success to me becoming mayor. I mean, I had no opponent last time, and people came to the polls and said, "I know you don't have an opponent, but I want to show you how much I support you."
Yeah,
and that meant a lot.
That's a big deal because I know
with
if you don't have an opponent, a lot of friends will just be like, "Yeah, it's a slam dunk."
Right,
well, maybe there's a bunch of who knows?
No, I won by more than I won by more than when I won when I had an opponent. It was unbelievable, and it meant a lot to me. This touched my heart.
What did you love about, or let me ask you this: what did you take from running the meat department in leadership? Because leadership is leadership.
Right.
At the end of the day, a good leader can run many different things.
Right.
What did you take from the leadership in the supermarkets to your role here as mayor?
Customer service. Customer service and working with people. Different personalities. I had different personalities where people would fight or didn't get along with each other for whatever reason. Guys going through divorces, women going through divorces. I always took the time to listen to them. If they had a problem, take your time off. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I'll do your job and my job, but do what you need to do. So working with people to give them that, time to heal whatever they're going through and connect them with resources. Sometimes they trusted me to talk to anybody else about it, but they trusted me to talk to me about it. And I would give them advice, I don't know if it's the right advice, but I think this is what I would do. And I guess it's kind of worked, because they've took the advice and they're in a much better place.
Yeah.
So just working with people, I think that it's important that people, they want somebody to talk to. They can't talk to somebody at home or they can't talk to a family member about certain things. So if they trust you enough not to divulge it, they'll talk to you. And I've had people here in the community talk to me about certain things, that trusted me to talk about them, connect them with the right resources to try to help them resolve the problem.
I found that as a business owner, my role is, because my staff does most of the work, right? But my role is often, counselor.
Yeah.
It's not always, it takes me X amount of hours a week to do my job.
Sure.
And I still work. I have to work. Everybody's got to work.
Right.
But, when it comes to our members and it comes to my staff, it's often just listening.
Yeah.
People just want to be heard,
Yeah, they want to be heard, feel some empathy.
Yeah.
That you have some empathy for them. You're not just giving them lip service. When my people hurt here, I hurt. I really do. I've done a lot of fundraisers for kids. A little boy had cancer. A lady gave me $5,000 to shave my head so he could go to Disney World.
Yeah.
We gave him money. The fire department was there. They raised money. We sent that kid to Disney World. So, I'll do anything I can to help somebody else.
Yeah. Well, Wentzville, one of Wentzville's crown jewels is the Child Advocacy Center.
Yes. Been to all their functions, all their pinwheels for prevention, and the Child Center gala.
Yeah, the gala every year. Yep.
And whenever I have the mayor's meeting, I always you pick your favorite charity, and the mayors all put $20, $10, dollars, whatever. You might raise another $50. You take it over there too.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and also the mayor's ball. We've given money for the mayor's ball. We had dancing with the mayors a couple of years ago.
Was that fun? Or was that
It was
awkward?
the most embarrassing thing I ever did in my life.
Can you dance?
I said, never again. No, we took lessons and everything.
Did you really?
My wife said, I've been trying to teach him for 30 years, and he's not going to learn. So I got 2 left feet. But it was a great fundraiser, though. We were able to help a lot of charities.
What's something? I don't think I asked you this. What's something that surprised you about this role? Because you weren't a mayor, but you had relationships with the mayor as an alderman. But what's something that really surprised you about this role, good or bad?
I would say nothing bad. It was probably all good, but a lot of restructuring. We had a lot of boards. I would say I had bad boards. But it depends on how you define bad. But when I ran in 2012, the board was supporting another candidate for mayor. So they actually sent an email out that I wasn't going to accomplish anything. They were standing in my way, keep me from accomplishing anything. And I got a copy of that email from somebody that was a supporter of mine, but also friends with them. So I told them all, I said, look, I got to fill my seat. They wouldn't approve my appointment because I had a year left on my seat. Mm-hmm. When I became mayor, and they wouldn't approve my appointment to that seat. They didn't want somebody I put in there that would agree with me or give me any kind of support.
Wow.
So it was a bad year. So the staff was quitting at an alarming rate.
Really?
Because of some of the policies they were putting in place. It was just dysfunction. So I said, look, you guys, tell you right up front, You can be part of my success or part of my failure.
Right.
But you're not going to stand in my way. I'm going to get things done with or without you.
Yeah.
And I said, I got some goals, and here's a couple of my goals. You be part of it, or I'll do it without you.
Did you win some over?
I did, a few of them. Like I said, staff, I actually went on a campaign against some of them, and got them off the board. I told people that I need some board support me. Not that I need to be yes people for me, you know what I'm saying? But I need support. I can't get nothing done without working with the board. They're working against me.
Yeah.
And it was all political. It was because I wasn't their choice for mayor. They were looking for ways to impeach me and everything else. It was a bad 2 years.
It seems like at a city, I mean, everybody has opinions, and you need to have opinions, or you're not going to get anything done.
Right.
But do you find yourself? Do you claim a political party?
No, we're nonpartisan, so we don't claim a political party.
As mayor, you don't.
Right. But do I lean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lean R. I lean more R, but I represent everybody. But I'm labor friendly because I've been in the union for 43 years. So there's a defining line there. But I'm pro-life. Pro 10th Amendment. I mean, certain things I won't bend on. I'm Catholic. Certain things I won't bend on, but I also agree with some of the things on the other side. Not many, but some. And
well,
I believe in helping people.
It's sensible to listen, if nothing else.
Right.
But yeah, your job is to form an opinion and
Right.
and champion that opinion, right?
Right.
That's your job.
Right.
So so I'm asking this kind of selfishly,
Sure.
because wanting to get involved politically, I thought it would be kind of stupid for me to run for something,
Right.
because I haven't been involved at all. So I joined a board
Right.
in Weldon Spring. That's probably the best way to get involved. Is it the best way to get involved? Like
it's a way. It's
a way.
Yeah, it's a way to get involved. If like planning and zoning or something. I mean,
Well, Parks and Rec,
Yeah,
I looked through the list and I'm like, well,
Sure.
where do they need somebody?
Right.
And I walked up and talked with the community liaison, and I'm like, where do you need some help? Well, we need it here. So I thought, well, I'm going to get involved, and because I thought that would be a great way to get involved, see the lay of the land. But what other ways are there some holes right now that people could step up into?
Well, we always have openings on planning and zoning. I take applications for the planning and zoning board of adjustment, parks board. There's always vacancy every year.
Yeah.
So I appoint those people. The board can approve or not approve. But yeah, that's one way to get on the board. But to get involved in the community organizations is another way. Run for local government. That's another way. But you got to know what you're getting into, because it's
Right.
It says part time, but you really put a lot of time into it if you really want to do it right. And it's a lot of meetings and a lot of reading on documents and research, and staff does most of it. As far as they make recommendations, and you trust a recommendation, you read through all that. But there is a lot goes into it. You get calls in the middle of the night. My street ain't plowed. How come my street's not plowed? They'll tell them, call the mayor. So I bet his street's plowed. No, it's not.
It's probably not.
Mine's the last one. My neighbors get punished because I'm the mayor.
Right.
I always tell them, don't do us any favors. Do it on a schedule.
No, put me last.
But stuff like that. My trash
Yeah.
hasn't been picked up. This and that. Somebody speeding down my street and all that. So they'll send emails to the police chief to put more enforcement out there. But it's time consuming. It really is. And being mayor is even more so time consuming, because I got to keep up with the board and what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're all going different directions on different projects they want to do and stuff. So.
A good friend of mine in the O'Fallon City Council, and I won't name him, but
Okay.
you probably know him, but a good friend. I asked him when after he was elected, I said, so I guess he had been in for maybe a year. I said, so how do you like that role? How do you like being on the city council? He says, well, Mike, he goes, I'm a blessed man. I've always gotten along with people. I never had an enemy in my life. I've just, I've always gotten along. He goes, but I'm not, what's hard about it is I'm not used to being hated.
Yeah.
He goes, I've never in my life been hated
Yeah.
until I took this role as city councilman, and now I've had death threats.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I can't even imagine that. Now, if someone aspires to be in politics, in order to be effective, you're going to have to put yourself out there.
Yep. Your family and yourself. And
Yeah.
what they don't know to make up. But people just like to spew hate, and Not everybody. I've been blessed here in Wentzville. It's not been that bad, but we've had. I mean, I had 6,000 emails at one time, hate mail, phone calls with threats when we put in God We Trust in City Hall.
Yeah.
And, that went national. Laura Ingraham called me to be on her show, and that was pretty intense. My wife said, "You need to carry," and I said, "No, I trust God. I don't need to carry. I'm protected." So it was people from all different states, countries, and wasn't even coming from Wentzville, but 900 people showed up here to support me.
Yeah.
It was paid for with private funds, not tax dollars, and
Right.
we went through the process. It's our national motto, and anyway, it was pretty intense, and we had several large crowds at our meeting. Maybe 5 people opposed, didn't even live in Wentzville, and,
Yeah.
but most people are in favor of it.
Mhm.
So that was probably the biggest stressful time in my life that I went through, I guess.
When it comes to your day-to-day, tell me about, you get up, you read, what do you do? What's your day look like? Like any given Tuesday, just
Yeah.
random day.
Just
And I know they're all different, but
Yeah, it just depends on what's going on. Sometimes I have multiple maybe ribbon cuttings or go out to businesses, see how they're doing. Is there anything they need or any issues? Come in City Hall, check my mail, just get with staff and have updates on what's going on, what's coming.
is that daily?
Every
Do you
day. I'm here every day.
You're here every day.
Every day.
And you don't have to be.
No, I don't have to be. No, but I come every day, and I'm emailing constantly. If it isn't staff, it's citizens in the city about issues they see or something going on about speeding or I don't know, whatever, trash wasn't picked up or recycle
Yeah.
wasn't picked up. Just whatever issue they have. A lot of emails in different organizations, and then I have the mayor's monthly meeting we have, and meet with the county councilman on a regular basis, and just oversee, look at projects, where we're at on projects, put out information to the public. And some days when I just nothing to do, I just drive around subdivisions. I see somebody out, park my car. I got my signs on it, says Mayor Nick Guccione.
Yeah.
Because they'll call the
I saw
police.
that. I parked next to you.
Well, I got a bigger sign than that, but I put it on the bigger one because people, and I'm glad they do that. They said black car driving around, and they're like, some weirdos driving around, So the police have pulled me over a couple times. Oh, it's just the mayor. Put something on your car, will you? But I drive around and I'll talk to people. I'll get out and say, hey, how's your day? How's it going? What do you think about Wentzville?
Yeah.
Is there anything I could do better? Or is there anything you see I could address? Or, how's, our taxes are high, but that's the biggest thing I hear. But it's not our taxes. We have not raised taxes since I've been in office.
Yeah.
We've reduced property tax twice, but the school's got 3 tax increases, the fire,
Yeah.
the ambulance, which I support, and, the county library, the county
And
community
that's all
college,
outside of your purview.
all outside of our purview, but we have not raised taxes. We get a very small portion. Most of ours are high resale sales tax, but that's way before me.
Mhm.
There was some TIFs and NIDs, our TDDs were on the Parkway to get that developed years ago, way before me. But
Yeah.
and they'll expire eventually. But other than that, that's probably the biggest thing people complain about is traffic and taxes.
Yeah.
And their assessed value is going up because the property values are increasing.
Good
Going
and
to the
bad.
roof, yeah.
Yeah, you got to take the bad with the good. So, do you find yourself? Are you more productive in the morning, afternoon? When do you get the best of your work done?
Probably in the morning.
Is it?
Yeah, mornings. Yeah, the afternoon I'm ready to take a little nap or
Yeah.
go home and get something to eat because I'll eat once a day. I try to lose weight, so
Yeah.
I have lunch and go home and catch up on emails or see how the grandkids are doing. Spend half the day with the grandkids, and we got an in-ground pool in our yard, so they come over every day and swim.
If you could start a business in Wentzville, what would it be?
I think it would be a nice Italian restaurant, to be honest with you. 'Cause
You know what?
There's some, but not enough Italian restaurants.
My cousins, Joe Ruggieri,
Ruggieri, oh, okay.
owned Ruggeri's
Yeah.
out here for years, and
Yeah.
then they closed that and went downtown, and now she works over at I think Twin Oaks. Is that it? Yeah.
Twin Oaks, yes.
Yeah. Well,
Yes. Tim Blatto,
amazing
great
facility.
guy,
Yeah.
good people.
So, but they had Ruggeri's here,
I'll be darned.
and that was a great
Yeah.
restaurant. But yeah, you need it.
Didn't
I
that
said-
Rizzo's take that over?
I think I don't remember.
Rizzo's got it. I mean, Rizzo's is pretty good too, but there's really not a lot of good Italian pasta houses out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that would be one of my things I would open as a. But at my age, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go in business. I'd rather somebody else take the headaches and worries. And
Well, I mean, you're running this. This is this is the largest business in Wentzville.
Yeah, it is.
And you're running it.
Well, I got great people.
You got staff. Yeah.
I got a great city manager.
Well, that's what a great leader says.
Yeah.
Is they give the credit to their staff.
Yeah, that's true. It's
what are you read books? Are you a reader?
Depends. Yeah, I haven't spent too much. I got a lot of books up there, but it just depends. I read mostly city stuff, mostly governmental stuff, or what's going on politically, or stuff like that. Watch a lot of social media stuff, and just got a video on Eric Wright and something about this rhino gun thing. I don't know. Somebody just sent me, so
yeah.
They wanted my opinion on it. I haven't given an opinion yet, but mostly city stuff, because we have strategic planning session, and so we set our goals for the next 5 years, and so I trying to keep track of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where we're going and what I'm going to bring up at the next board meeting, and I look at the agenda, what's going to be controversial, what's not going to pass, what's going to pass. I know how I could read the board, so I know how they vote for the most part, but I don't influence their vote. I mean, their vote is their vote.
Yeah, well, you get to know people and what they stand for.
Right.
Yeah. And you want. Do you enjoy opposing opinions? Do you enjoy those discussions?
Yeah, I do like to have those debates.
Yeah.
Because there's different. Sometimes a council member might say something to change my mind. Something I didn't think about. But for the most part, I've done my research, and sometimes I think some of the comments they might not make sense to me. So I like to hear from them. Why do you think that makes sense to turn down a business or something? That's not a good enough reason for me.
Yeah. Do you think that you always had that ability, that discernment, and that did you always welcome the dissenting opinions in leadership?
Yeah, always had. Yeah. I've never had an argument with anybody over their political views or their opinion. I respect it. Okay, and I'm not going to change mine. I'm not going to change theirs. But they make me think. Food for thought. I mean, it's like I was raised Catholic. I'm not going to change my religion. So that's kind of where I'm at on things. But I do try to be open-minded. To different people's opinion and why. And if they could prove something to me, then.
Well, okay. Well, let me ask you this: what's something that you changed your opinion on?
I'll say probably there's two things: golf carts and fireworks. I was opposed to fireworks when they board passed
in city limits.
Yeah, when the board passed it, because a lot of people complained about it. It was a big complaint, about fireworks. People were doing it anyway. It was really hard for the police to enforce.
Yeah.
So they passed the board. Somebody brought it up, one of the board members, and we allow them. And I vetoed their decision. And then I heard from a lot of people who were upset about it because they thought they should be allowed to shoot them. And I said, well, if we could set a parameter of two days, and if people would follow that parameter, it would probably be better than 5 or 6 days.
Right. Otherwise,
so we worked together to get that accomplished, and we set up 2 days, the 3rd and the 4th. And I'll tell you what, it's worked out.
Has it? People are respectful of that?
Majority of the people have been respectful.
Well, you always get the ones.
You always get the few, but there's county pockets of St. Charles County. In Wentzville, there's little pockets. So they can do it for 5 days. So people think it's Wentzville, but it's not. It's actually that pocket. So we get calls about that. It's illegal there. But that was one of them. And then when the golf carts was bought up, I was concerned about public safety with that, with kids riding them, underage kids, which they are. We've had issues with it. But overall, it's working.
So you allow those on city limit streets here? Well, is there like 35 miles an hour under or something like that?
35 or under. You can't get them on the parkway or not. But subdivisions.
And you have to be a licensed driver.
Right.
They have to have blinkers and whatever. Yeah.
So it's worked out, but we do still have parents that let their kids, 14, 13 years old, take out the golf cart.
Yeah.
It happens, but percentage-wise, not. But there's still people speeding. If you look at it that way, I look at, you have a speed limit, but people still speed. Just a small percentage. Most people follow the rules. Not everybody, but most of them do.
Yeah. What do you love about this area? Have you lived anywhere else? Well, you were in the military, so you did that. But
Korea was a little different.
Yeah.
Hawaii for a while, but I lived born in a city right across the street from Sportsman Park, right next to the YMCA.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
so you're a lifer in this region. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And we had a tornado down there when I was 5 years old and tore the house up.
Wow.
And we moved out to the Delwood area, Delwood, Ferguson, and when I went to the military and came out, I moved.
What'd you do in the
Florida.
military?
I was in communications.
Right.
I was a 31 M20 and 31 Lima and Bravo. So lineman communications, set up radar and all that stuff for all the bases, all the communication. Those radios were 6-7 foot tall. Now they're little compact things.
If you could have coffee with anybody, any historical figure, who would you want to sit and have coffee with?
John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan.
What would you ask them?
I would ask them a lot of why this, why that. I don't know, just general conversation. How they got into where they, how they worked their way up to being president of the United States. Was it worth it when they got in? Kennedy was connected to some bad people, I guess, when he got elected. Found out, but Reagan was probably one of our better presidents, I think, in my era. So I don't know. I'd just general conversation. I wouldn't, nothing specific. I wouldn't ask him. I'm not never looking to be president, so should have started years ago if I wouldn't.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert, or somewhere in between?
I think probably in between.
Are you?
I think it's the best place to be.
Gotcha. If you had to write a book tomorrow, or what would the book about your life? What would you call it?
The ups and downs of politics. Probably.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it probably would be. I'm sure everybody in politics could tell you that, or get involved in some kind of government, because, like I said, everybody will tell you the same thing. Could be so volatile. You get in there with the right reason, do the right thing. You got a heart to do some good things, and then you realize you're not going to make everybody happy. And I knew that going in. You're not going to. It's just not going to happen. I don't care how hard you work at it. It's not going to happen. But you do your best. But it just gets frustrating sometimes, I think, when people go in with that mindset and they're constantly follow the money. They're corrupt.
Right.
They're taking,
Right.
Well, you can't make that statement when show me where we're getting rich. I'm driving a 2008 Impala.
I know what state reps make.
Yeah.
And it's not. There's no money there.
There's no money there. It's
yeah.
It's a tough job too. It's making decisions. You're not gonna make, but you follow your party platform. That's what you ran on, and that's what you got elected to do.
Yeah. So if you obviously don't need to do this.
No.
So if you won $10 million, would you still?
I'd still do it.
You still do it.
I'd still do it. I'd take that $10 million. I'd stimulate my economy and help people.
You open an Italian restaurant.
I'd open an Italian restaurant, and I would help people that are really struggling out there right now. It's a tough time with gas and taxes and everything else hitting people, and I do my best to help the people that deserve to be helped. Give them a hand up, not a hand out, but just try to help people.
Does Wentzville have a homeless population?
We do, yeah. It's not a large, but we do have.
Yeah.
I'm on the board actually for First Step Back Homeless with Paul Cruz ministry. So I serve on that board, and we have a budget they house a lot of the homeless there. He pays, the hotel. He buys them a car to get to a job, and we help get them jobs, get them on their feet, and stuff like that. But we do have a small portion here. It's not, and I know they're working on something in St. Charles County. Trying to get a homeless shelter in St. Charles County, and we have coordinated entry, which the city gives them some tax dollars for helping with the population out here. So it helps us keep them off the street.
Coordinated entry, you mean for directly for homeless people?
Yes, for homeless people.
So
especially in the wintertime.
There's a budget for that?
There's a budget for that. Yeah.
Gotcha. But I'm sure it's probably not enough.
It's not enough. Every community contributes to it.
Yeah.
And then they get like grant money too as well, stuff, funding.
No, with the and I know I'm all over the place, but this just came to mind. With the Port Authority coming to St. Charles County, which was a really interesting thing.
Right.
Have you? Is there a benefit to the city of Wentzville for that?
We haven't seen it yet, but I think there is a benefit.
Yeah.
Nothing we've been involved in, I'm aware of yet. But
and if you're listening and don't know why Wentzville could benefit from a Port Authority, look into it. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the first time I've ever got involved in one, so I really never know how they function or work. But,
yeah, we don't really have a port.
We don't have a port, and that's what I thought it was a boat. We have this big shipping yard somewhere. But,
right? No, it's not that at all. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking your time. We just have some fun questions.
Sure.
What'd you have for lunch?
Just bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches.
If you could have one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Artichokes.
Seriously?
Yeah. I love artichokes.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
You ever had a stuffed artichoke?
I have.
From
I mean, it's
grandmother.
good.
Yeah.
She have a
grandmother used to
special
make the best.
special
yeah,
recipe?
she did. Had anchovies in it and all that.
Anchovies.
Stuffed with the breadcrumbs and.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. That and calamari. It's two of my favorite.
Yeah. What's your favorite subject in school?
I'd say math. Probably
Yeah,
math.
you're a math guy?
Yeah.
I was too. What's your favorite trip you've ever taken?
Well, I went on a cruise. Best vacation I ever had. I went to St. Thomas, St. Martin, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Bahamas. Didn't care much for Bahamas. As soon as I got off the boat, they tried to throw me this big old joint. I'm like, what? I don't do that. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Everybody in America does it.
No,
not
not
me.
everybody. Yeah.
But St. Thomas, St. Martin was really nice. It's a tax-free state, St. Thomas. So I had a good time there, enjoyed it. And it's sad you only get to spend a day there because, port at least. But it was a 10-day cruise and probably the best vacation I ever had.
Nice.
Real relaxing.
Do you have a pet peeve?
I would like people not to lie to me.
No.
I'd rather hear the truth than,
Yeah.
just don't tell me a lie and then
Yeah.
find out, because I've done it, helped somebody with a fundraiser one time that needed money to keep from losing their house and found out that wasn't the truth. And after we raised them the money, and they went out and bought a new golf cart. Like,
Oh,
wow,
Lord.
with the money we raised them. So that burned me once, you won't burn me again. But
Yeah.
stuff like that. Love kids. I like to see kids out playing, enjoying themselves, and before they grow up and have to go to work and get into real life. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for this next generation. I worry about my grandkids and how they're gonna survive the way things
Yeah.
are going.
What advice would you give someone who wants to pursue a career, or at least, I mean, you can say local politics is a career, but it's not a high-paying career. But what's some advice you would give someone who wants to get involved in politics or become mayor?
Well, I would recommend if you want to become council member or mayor, that would be the best place to go, because if you get into federal or state, you get sucked into the party affiliations. If you don't vote the way they want you to vote, they'll primary you and get you out of office. So then you're not there to accomplish your goals.
Yeah.
So I'd say the local politics is the best place to be. But like I say, you got to do it because you want to do it. You got to put your heart into it, and not do it because you're mad at somebody because they didn't vote your way, or they're not representing you the way you feel like they should, or 'cause you're going to have to, once you get in there, see, they play Monday morning quarterback, but it's not easy to get everything done.
Yeah, if you're at a state level and above, if you're not in a party, like if you're not a party line, you're probably not going to get anything done.
Right.
You need to be banded together with your brothers and
you do.
sisters. Yeah. Local, I think you can be more of a renegade, but you're not really a renegade when you've got community support and you got a great
Sure.
staff.
Right. Yeah, you get good staff to get you good direction and advice, and you got 6 aldermen, maybe 8. Depends. Some cities, I think Wildwood has 10 council members, so get 6. We're probably going to go to 4 wards in the future where we'll have 8. But you can kind of work together and get come to kind of consensus. Maybe 4 wants this, but they bring in, add on some things or take off some things on a project or something. But at the end of the day, I think everybody will come together and get things done.
Wentzville's maybe I'm wrong, but Wentzville's kind of a big city just to have 3 wards, isn't it?
It is. We should be. We just did from our census. We should be at 4, but we want to kind of hold off for another couple of years. We just thought the timing was. We're at 48,000. We want to wait till we're about 50,000, 51,000.
Gotcha.
So probably in the next couple of years we'll go to 4 wards.
What did your parents do for a living? What did your dad do?
My dad worked for the government, made maps. He left when I was 5 years old, so I really didn't get to connect with him again until I got out of the military. So
Okay.
it was kind of a volatile divorce, and he'd come and see us, and wasn't always welcomed by my mom at times. It was a very bad situation.
Was he political?
No.
What about your mom?
She worked for Busman Fuse down in the city, made fuses. Busman Fuse.
I know Busman, yeah.
She was there for, I'd say, 45 years, a long time. She passed away, so my grandfather, he come over here from Italy with $5 in his pocket, and he had, Ciballo Construction, Ciballo Meat Company, very successful man. So my grandfather actually raised me,
Okay.
and my grandmother, so my mom got divorced. I kind of lived with them on and off. So.
Was that hard, or was that just your normal for you?
No, it was great. I mean, not having my dad there, my grandfather was my best next option. I mean, he was there for me every step of the way. You know, I loved that man to death. He was a great guy to be with. So taught me a lot.
What's the legacy thing that he taught you?
Well, it taught me respect other people, and when you were in the room, kids should be seen and not heard. You didn't speak when they were speaking. Mm-hmm. They spoke Italian a lot, so I didn't understand a lot of what they were saying.
Okay.
But he taught me respect. He taught me discipline, and how to taught me how to cut meat when I was like 7, 8 years old. Would give me a dull knife and a bone.
Yeah.
And he says he keeps getting every piece of meat, red meat off that bone. But just little stuff that he taught me. By the time I was 15, I was breaking cattle and cutting beef.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
What's something that someone would be surprised to find out about you? Like, but somebody who really knows you, like someone's really getting to know you. What would surprise them about you? Like a special skill, a thing, something that's important to you.
I have no skills. I'm not good at sports. Not good at sports. Did a little boxing, in my early days on Southside Gym. But other than that, nothing special. Just.
I don't know. I've been sitting here with you for an hour and 25 minutes, and I disagree. I think there's something really special about you.
Well, I don't know. I didn't have a very exciting life, so other than being in the military, but growing up with friends and stuff, and I still have relationships with some of those friends that I grew up with, and keep in contact with them. But
yeah.
Don't have a lot of friends outside of some of the political people I hang out with once in a while, but. There's really nothing I can tell you special.
So you don't juggle, you don't spin basketballs on your fingers.
No,
you
don't have any.
Play any instruments, anything.
No, I tried guitar for a while, but never could get the hang of it.
I gotcha.
Never got the hang of it. Gotcha. Some people could pick up an instrument and learn right away, but some people it's hard. But that's what I'm at. I'm just good at working with people and conflict resolution, just trying to help people.
What would you tell yourself if you could go back to 18 years old? What would you tell your 18-year-old Nick? What would you tell yourself?
If I tell myself I knew now?
Yeah, what you know now. What would you...
I would have got more involved in politics.
Really?
Yeah. I think I would have been more involved in what's going on and try to be more of that process. And maybe I would have went higher in government. Who knows? Because I really enjoy it. I do enjoy. I enjoy getting things done. I enjoy seeing people happy. I enjoy making a community great, good community.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I think I would have probably got involved more politically.
What are you looking forward to in the future? What does Nick Guccione look forward to?
My grandkids. That's what I have right now. Is just my grandkids. That I make sure they're safe, and I leave them enough to get a start on their life. That they'll have something to fall back on. I didn't have. When I grew up, everything I had to work for. Nobody gave me nothing, and I just want to make sure they have something. I don't want to spoil them, but I want to make sure they're in a financial position that they, they don't struggle as much.
Yeah.
So they have a chance to succeed.
Yeah. Awesome.
My grandson has borderline spectrum of autism, so
yeah. Okay.
So he's my biggest worry right now. That what's going to happen to him? So.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're kind of building a city for them?
I'm hoping so. Yeah, I'm hoping so that I'm leaving something behind for them as well, and everybody else's kids too, not just mine. I don't be self-serving.
Well, yeah, if you're helping, yours, you're helping them.
Yeah,
sure.
that they'll have something here they could, when they go to a park, say, "Hey, this is my grandpa." That's his name.
Well, I'm sitting across the table from you, and I'm just feeling like, I want to be best buds with you now because I love your heart, I love your passion, and it's wonderfully refreshing when someone who truly has a passion to serve and a passion for people and doing the right thing, when that person is chosen to be a leader. Yeah. And I think you do have a tremendous influence. And here's the great thing about it. It's just you being you. Answering questions and being honest. This podcast is all about leaving a legacy of interviews that people can listen to and find out what influential people do. Cool. Now, other people who I interview, they might go about it a different way, but there's going to be after, I don't know, 40, 50, 80 of these interviews, there's going to be a thread,
Right.
because goodness is goodness, right?
Right.
And you're a man of faith. We know where the goodness comes from, and staying focused on those on that Christ-centered. At least for me, I'm not going to speak for you, but staying focused on that Christ-centered message, and which is a big message.
Right.
It kind of leads to, I think, being influential. What's something that I haven't asked you that you wish I would have asked you?
I think you cover a lot. I don't know if I got to get a brain freeze.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, it is.
And I've put everybody on the spot, and everybody's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to define because I'm on this side, but I kind of thought about what I would say, when you were coming, because I didn't know what to expect on a discussion, but I always try to be open and honest about everything I answer. So right now, I really can't think of anything. Like I said, I got into this. I've never benefited financially from being the mayor. It actually probably cost me.
It certainly cost you time.
Well,
$1.25 bucks. I just toured Jefferson City Correctional Center.
Oh, really?
Okay?
Wow.
And I can tell you that at your current hourly rate, there are prisoners making license plates who are making about what you make an hour.
And that's what I say. If you get in politics, it doesn't. It covers your costs maybe for gas and this and that.
Yeah, you got to want to do it.
And I donate a lot from my pay to different organizations, but you can't do it for money. It's got to be a part-time. That's why I say it's part-time, because most people have a full-time job, and I did. But I had 40-something years invested at that time, where I had a good pension, Social Security. So that's why I retired. So this is just supplement. This is just if I was a mayor tomorrow, I wouldn't miss it because it doesn't really.
If you weren't mayor, what would you do with your day tomorrow? If this all burnt down, like figuratively, hear me on this, all police. If this figuratively burnt down and you didn't have to get up in the morning, what would you do?
I'd find a way to serve. I'd find something I could be involved in.
Yeah.
Whether it's more of our church or Knights of Columbus or Lions Club or one of these organizations.
Yeah.
But they're same thing. They don't have things all day long. Maybe I'd volunteer at a hospital or something.
Yeah.
Or I'd go back to work, part-time. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be hard, but I would do something.
Well, this seems like a good fit for you.
Yeah.
You've welcomed me. I'm very comfortable here.
Yeah, thank you.
The staff is amazing.
They're
I
good
walked
people,
in and was just welcomed and they didn't know what I was doing, but they were wonderful.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you.
People can get a hold of you, right?
Right, yeah.
So social media, they can call your phone number's public. They can get a hold of you, right, if they have questions?
I have 2 phones. They're both public, and my email address. I even post my card on all the subdivision pages with my contact info. I have Coffee Talk. I'm very accessible. They know how to get a hold of me. Believe me, they'll text me or email me.
Well, Mayor Guccione, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. God bless you, man. Thank you for your servant's heart. For that's what every community needs, and I think we're really blessed in St. Charles County to have leadership who really gives a hoot about people, and truly, as I've met all of the mayors around, they're just great people, and you're certainly one of them. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
have
you.
an awesome day. Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode.